Shadows of obligation. In the quaint Italian village of Monteverdi, life moved at a gentle pace, with traditions deeply rooted in every cobblestone street and sunlit piazza. Lina Rossi, a spirited young woman of 23, had always found solace in the familiar rhythms of her hometown. Her days were filled with assisting her mother, Giulia, in their modest family-run bakery, and evenings spent reading tales of distant lands and grand adventures. However, beneath the serene facade of the Rossi household, financial strains loomed large. Marco Rossi, Lina's father, had invested heavily in a business venture that, unfortunately, did not yield the expected returns. Debts accumulated rapidly, and the once comfortable Rossi family found themselves on the brink of losing everything. Unbeknownst to Lina, Marco had sought assistance from Enzo De Luca, the heir to the influential De Luca family. The De Lucas were renowned throughout the region, their wealth and power extending into various sectors, from vineyards to real estate. Enzo, though young, had a reputation for being astute and formidable in business dealings. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over Monteverdi, Marco called Lina into the family's modest living room. The weight of unspoken worries etched deep lines on his face. "Lina," he began, his voice heavy with emotion, "our family is in grave financial trouble. I've done everything in my power to rectify the situation, but the debts are insurmountable." Lina's heart sank. She had been aware of the bakery's declining profits but hadn't realized the severity of their predicament. "I've spoken with Enzo De Luca," Marco continued, avoiding his daughter's gaze. "He has offered to settle our debts." Hope flickered in Lina's chest, only to be extinguished by her father's next words. "But there's a condition." Marco hesitated, the weight of his words pressing down on him. "He wishes to marry you." The room seemed to close in around Lina. The idea of marrying a man she barely knew, especially under such circumstances, was suffocating. "Papa, how can you ask this of me?" she whispered, tears welling up in her eyes. "I wouldn't if there were any other way," Marco replied, his voice breaking. "This is the only solution to save our family from ruin." The days that followed were a blur for Lina. She grappled with feelings of betrayal, fear, and resignation. The villagers buzzed with whispers about the impending union, their curiosity piqued by the unlikely match. The De Luca estate was a stark contrast to the Rossi's humble abode. Sprawling vineyards stretched as far as the eye could see, and the grand villa stood as a testament to the family's affluence. Lina's first meeting with Enzo was orchestrated in the estate's ornate drawing room. He was a tall man with piercing blue eyes that seemed to see right through her. His demeanor was calm, almost detached, as he observed her. "Miss Rossi," he greeted, his voice smooth yet devoid of warmth. "Mr. De Luca," Lina replied, her voice steady despite the turmoil within. "I understand this arrangement is unconventional," Enzo began, "but I assure you, my intentions are honorable." Chains of matrimony. Lina Rossi's life had transformed overnight. The familiar sense of her family's bakery and the comforting embrace of Monteverdi's cobblestone streets were now memories, replaced by the grandeur of the De Luca estate. The villa, with its sprawling vineyards and opulent architecture, stood as a testament to the family's affluence and influence. The morning after her arrival, Lina was introduced to the household. Servants bustled about, their eyes averted, adhering to the strict protocols of the De Luca household. Among them was Maria, the head housekeeper, whose warm smile offered Lina a semblance of comfort. "Signorina Lina," Maria greeted, her voice gentle yet firm, "if you need anything, please don't hesitate to ask." Lina nodded appreciatively, though the weight of her new reality pressed heavily upon her. Enzo De Luca remained an enigma. Their interactions were formal, almost transactional. He was courteous, ensuring she had everything she needed, but there was a palpable distance between them. Lina couldn't decipher whether it stemmed from his nature or the circumstances of their union. Dinners were particularly challenging. Seated across from each other at a long, ornate table, conversations were sparse, filled with polite inquiries and measured responses. Lina yearned for genuine connection, but the chasm between them seemed insurmountable. One evening, unable to bear the silence, Lena ventured, "Mr. De Luca, may I ask why you agreed to this arrangement?" Enzo looked up from his plate, his piercing blue eyes meeting hers. For a moment, she thought he might dismiss her question, but then he spoke. "Please, call me Enzo," he began, setting his utensils down. "Our families have a long history, Lena. Your father and mine were once close associates. When he approached me with his predicament, I saw an opportunity to assist." "But why marriage?" she pressed, her voice tinged with frustration. Enzo sighed, leaning back in his chair. "In our world, alliances are often solidified through marriage. It ensures loyalty, trust. I understand this isn't ideal for you, and I don't expect you to feel any particular way towards me. But I assure you, I will never force anything upon you." His words were unexpected, offering a glimmer of solace. Yet, the underlying reality remained unchanged. Days turned into weeks, and Lena found herself exploring the vast estate. The vineyards were particularly captivating. Rows upon rows of grapevines stretched towards the horizon, their fruits ripening under the Italian sun. It was during one of these walks that she encountered Sofia De Luca, Enzo's younger sister. Sofia was a stark contrast to her brother. Vivacious and warm, she exuded an energy that was both refreshing and comforting. "You must be Lena," Sofia greeted, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "Yes," Lena replied, offering a tentative smile. "Welcome to the madhouse," Sofia teased, linking her arm with Lena's. "Come, let me show you the real De Luca estate." Together, they ventured beyond the manicured gardens into areas less frequented. Sofia shared stories of their childhood, painting a picture of a family bound by duty and expectation. "Enzo has always been the responsible one," Sofia mused. "After our mother passed, he took on the mantle of leadership, often at the expense of his own desires." Lena listened intently, each revelation adding depth to her understanding of the man she had married. As days turned into weeks, Lena's initial resentment began to wane. She observed Enzo's interactions with the estate workers, noting his fairness and the respect he commanded. He was a man of few words, but his actions spoke volumes. One evening, as a storm raged outside, Lena found herself in the estate's expansive library. Rows upon rows of books lined the walls, the scent of aged paper filling the air. She selected a volume and settled into a plush armchair by the fireplace. Enzo entered moments later, surprised to find her there. "Couldn't sleep?" he inquired, his tone softer than usual. "The storm," she gestured towards the window, "it's quite intense." He nodded, moving to the bar to pour himself a drink. After a moment's hesitation, he poured another and offered it to her. "To new beginnings," he toasted, a hint of vulnerability in his eyes. Lena met his gaze, clinking her glass against his. "To understanding," she added. As the storm howled outside, the walls between them began to crumble, brick by brick. Whispers of the past. The days at the De Luca estate unfolded with a rhythm that Lena was beginning to understand. Mornings were spent exploring the vast vineyards, afternoons immersed in the estate's extensive library, and evenings filled with formal dinners where conversation was polite but distant. Yet, amidst this routine, Lena felt a growing connection to her new surroundings and, unexpectedly, to Enzo. One afternoon, as the golden hues of sunset bathed the estate, Lena decided to visit the nearby village of Castelnuovo. She had heard tales of its ancient ruins and quaint streets lined with artisan shops. As she strolled through the cobblestone streets, she was drawn to a small art gallery showcasing local artists. Inside, the vibrant paintings and sculptures told stories of the region's rich history and culture. There, amidst the artworks, Lena encountered Luca Bianchi, a childhood friend from Monteverdi. Luca had always been the adventurous spirit, the one who dreamed of exploring the world beyond their village. His presence in Castelnuovo was no surprise, he had always been drawn to art and history. "Lena," Luca's voice was filled with disbelief as he approached her. "Is it really you?" "Luca," Lena exclaimed, her heart lifting at the familiar face. What are you doing here? I could ask you the same, Luca chuckled. I've been traveling, studying art, and capturing the essence of Italy through my lens. And you? What brings you to Castelnuovo? Lena hesitated, the weight of her recent marriage pressing on her. I'm married now. To Enzo De Luca. Luca's eyebrows rose in surprise. The Enzo De Luca? Heir to the De Luca empire? Yes, Lena replied softly. It's a long story. Power Thesaurus. They spent the rest of the afternoon reminiscing about their childhood, sharing stories of their journeys, and discussing their dreams. Luca's presence was a balm to Lena's soul, reminding her of simpler times and the bonds that time and distance could not erase. As evening approached, Luca invited Lena to a local trattoria, a cozy establishment known for its homemade pasta and rustic ambience. There, over plates of fettuccine alfredo and glasses of robust Chianti, they continued their conversation. Lena, Luca began, his tone serious, I've always known you to be strong and independent. But this situation you're in, it doesn't seem right. Lena sighed, swirling the wine in her glass. I didn't have a choice, Luca. My family's debts were overwhelming. Marrying Enzo was the only way to save them. But at what cost to you, Luca pressed. I don't know anymore, Lena admitted. Some days, I feel like I've lost myself. Luca reached across the table, taking her hand in his. You haven't lost yourself, Lena. You're just misplaced. But remember, you have the power to change your path. Those words resonated with Lena long after she returned to the estate. She began to observe Enzo more closely, seeking to understand the man she had married. She noticed the weight he carried, the burden of expectations, and the loneliness that often clouded his eyes. One evening, as they sat in the library together, Lena decided to bridge the gap between them. Enzo, she began, her voice tentative, tell me about your childhood. What was it like growing up as the heir to the De Luca empire? Enzo looked up from his book, surprised by her question. It was isolating, he confessed. There were always eyes on me, expectations to uphold the family legacy. Sometimes, I wished for a simpler life. I understand, Lena said softly. I often feel the same. They sat in companionable silence, the unspoken understanding between them growing. It was a small step, but it was a beginning. Power Thesaurus. +3. The Times. Company UK. +3. Name Barry. +3. The following days saw Lena and Enzo engaging in more conversations, sharing their hopes, fears, and dreams. They discovered common ground, a shared desire for freedom and authenticity. Their connection deepened, evolving from mere obligation to a partnership rooted in mutual respect. Meanwhile, Luca's words echoed in Lena's mind, you have the power to change your path. She realized that while her circumstances were dictated by duty, her spirit remained unbroken. She could carve out moments of joy, seek out passions, and build a life that, though unconventional, was hers to define. As the weeks passed, Lena embraced her new reality with a renewed sense of purpose. She became involved in the estate's charitable endeavors, using her position to champion causes close to her heart. She rekindled her love for art, organizing exhibitions that showcased local talent. And, most importantly, she nurtured her relationship with Enzo, building a foundation of trust and understanding. The whispers of the past no longer held her captive. Lena Rossi had transformed her chains into wings, soaring towards a future she had once thought unattainable. Breaking the chains. As the days turned into months, Lena and Enzo's relationship evolved beyond mere tolerance. Their shared experiences, vulnerabilities, and mutual respect laid the foundation for a partnership neither had anticipated. Yet, beneath this developing camaraderie, the remnants of their initial circumstances lingered, reminding them both of the complexities of their union. One evening, as the golden hues of sunset bathed the estate, Enzo invited Lena to join him for a private dinner in the vineyard. The long table was adorned with flickering candles, and the aroma of grilled delicacies filled the air. As they dined, Enzo broached a topic that had been weighing on his mind. "Lena," he began, his tone earnest, "I've been thinking about our arrangement and the life we've built here. While we've found moments of joy, I can't help but feel that there's more we both seek." Lena met his gaze, her heart racing. "I agree," she replied softly. "When I first arrived, I was consumed by resentment and fear. But now, I see possibilities for us to redefine our narrative." They spent the rest of the evening discussing their dreams, aspirations, and the changes they wished to see in their lives. It became evident that both sought autonomy, not just in their personal endeavors but also in their marriage. The following week, Enzo proposed an idea that took Lena by surprise. "Why don't we host a grand event at the estate?" he suggested. "A celebration that showcases the talents of our community, promotes local artisans, and invites open dialogue about tradition and change." Lena's eyes lit up with enthusiasm. "That's a brilliant idea. It would bridge the gap between our world and the community, allowing us to foster understanding and support." The preparations for the event were both exhilarating and demanding. They collaborated with local artists, musicians, and chefs, ensuring that every aspect reflected a blend of tradition and modernity. As the day approached, the estate buzzed with activity, and a palpable sense of anticipation filled the air. On the day of the event, the estate transformed into a vibrant hub of culture and guests marveled at art exhibitions, danced to live music, and indulged in a fusion of culinary delights. Lena and Enzo moved through the crowd, engaging with visitors, sharing stories, and listening to feedback. The event not only strengthened community bonds but also positioned the De Luca estate as a progressive force advocating for change. As the night drew to a close, Lena found herself reflecting on the journey that had brought her here. From a reluctant bride to a woman actively shaping her destiny, the transformation was profound. She realized that while the chains of her past had bound her, they had also forged a resilience that propelled her forward. In the weeks that followed, Lena and Enzo continued their collaborative efforts, initiating educational programs, supporting local businesses, and hosting forums that encouraged open dialogue about societal norms and expectations. Their shared vision fostered a sense of unity and purpose, attracting attention from neighboring regions and inspiring others to challenge traditional constraints. However, not everyone embraced these changes. Traditionalists viewed the couple's initiatives as a threat to established norms, leading to subtle opposition and criticism. Lena and Enzo faced challenges in their personal and professional lives, testing their commitment to their cause and to each other. One evening, as they sat in their study, poring over plans for a new community project, Enzo voiced his concerns. "Lena, do you ever wonder if we're pushing too hard? The resistance is growing, and sometimes I fear for our safety." Lena placed a reassuring hand on his. "I understand your fears, Enzo. But remember why we started this journey, to create a world where our children can choose their paths freely, without the weight of outdated traditions." They sat in silence, the weight of their mission settling between them. Yet, amidst the challenges, there was an unspoken understanding that their bond was unbreakable, and their resolve unwavering. Months later, as spring painted the landscape with vibrant colors, Lena discovered she was expecting a child. The news filled their hearts with joy and anticipation, symbolizing hope for a future they were actively shaping. Lena envisioned a world where her child would grow up in an environment that celebrated individuality, embraced change, and honored the lessons of the past without being shackled by them. The birth of their daughter, Isabella, marked a new chapter in their lives. She became a living testament to their journey, a journey from constraint to freedom, from tradition to transformation. Lena and Enzo continued their work, now with a renewed sense of purpose, ensuring that Isabella would inherit a world where choices were not dictated by birthright or gender but by passion, talent, and ambition. Their story, once rooted in obligation, had blossomed into a narrative of empowerment, love, and change. They had broken the chains of their past, forging a path that others could follow, a path where the bonds of tradition were honored but not idolized, and where the pursuit of happiness was a shared journey for all. Echoes of Destiny. Months passed, and the DeLuca estate became a beacon of change and progress. Lena and Enzo's initiatives breathed new life into the community, fostering unity and inspiring others to challenge societal norms. Their daughter, Isabella, grew amidst love and hope, symbolizing the transformation they had ignited. One crisp autumn morning, as golden leaves danced in the wind, Lena received an unexpected letter. The elegant script on the envelope bore the insignia of the Rossi family. With trembling hands, she opened it, revealing an invitation to a family gathering in Monteverde. The letter was signed by her estranged father, Alessandro Rossi. Conflicted emotions surged within Lena. Her relationship with her father had been strained, marred by years of silence and unresolved grievances. Yet, the invitation stirred a yearning for reconciliation, a hope to bridge the chasm that had long separated them. Wikipedia. After discussing it with Enzo, who supported her decision, Lena embarked on the journey to Monteverde. The familiar sights of her childhood village greeted her, evoking a flood of memories. Arriving at the Rossi estate, she was ushered into a grand hall where family members gathered, their conversations ceasing as she entered. At the center stood Alessandro Rossi, his once vibrant demeanor now tempered by age. His eyes, however, retained the sharpness Lena remembered. He extended his hand, his voice steady yet laced with emotion. "Lena, it's been too long." Lena hesitated but took his hand, her voice barely above a whisper. "Father." Wikipedia. The ensuing hours were filled with strained pleasantries and subtle glances. Lena observed her relatives, noting the changes time had wrought. Yet, amidst the surface-level interactions, she felt a profound disconnect, as if the years apart had erected invisible barriers. Later that evening, Alessandro requested a private conversation with Lena. They retired to his study, the room dimly lit by a solitary lamp. He motioned for her to sit. "Lena," he began, his tone measured, "I know our past is fraught with misunderstandings. But I've come to realize the importance of family, especially in our later years." Lena met his gaze, her voice tinged with skepticism. "Why now, father? After all these years of silence?" Alessandro sighed, his shoulders heavy with unspoken burdens. "Regret has a way of settling in as one grows older. I've made mistakes, Lena. And I've come to seek your forgiveness, not just for my sake, but for the sake of the family legacy." The weight of his words hung in the air. Lena grappled with the tumult of emotions swirling within her. Years of hurt, abandonment, and unanswered questions clamored for attention. Yet, there was a part of her that longed for closure, for healing. After a long pause, Lena spoke, her voice steady but firm. "Forgiveness isn't a simple transaction, father. It's a journey, one that requires trust, understanding, and time." Alessandro nodded, his expression earnest. "I'm willing to embark on that journey, Lena. Whatever it takes." Over the following days, Lena remained in Monteverde, engaging in heartfelt conversations with her father. They navigated the murky waters of their past, confronting painful truths and attempting to rebuild a fractured bond. It was neither swift nor easy, but there was a mutual recognition of the need for healing. Meanwhile, back at the DeLuca estate, Enzo continued their shared mission, ensuring that their initiatives flourished in Lena's absence. He understood the significance of Lena's journey and supported her unconditionally, reinforcing the foundation of trust they had built together. As weeks turned into months, Lena and Alessandro's relationship began to mend, though the scars of the past remained visible. They learned to navigate their new dynamic, acknowledging that healing was a continuous process. Lena's experience in Monteverde not only transformed her relationship with her father but also deepened her understanding of forgiveness and the complexities of familial bonds. This chapter in Lena's life underscored the intricate tapestry of human relationships, highlighting the challenges and rewards of seeking reconciliation. It was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the enduring hope for connection, even amidst the echoes of past hurts. A legacy of hope. In the years that followed, Lena and Enzo's commitment to societal transformation bore fruit. The initiatives they championed led to tangible changes in the community, fostering an environment where individuals were empowered to pursue their passions without the constraints of outdated traditions. Their daughter, Isabella, grew up in a household where love, respect, and equality were paramount. She excelled in her studies, showing a particular aptitude for the arts. Lena and Enzo ensured she had access to the best education, nurturing her talents and encouraging her to dream big. As Isabella approached adulthood, she became increasingly involved in the family's philanthropic endeavors. She organized community events, led workshops on empowerment, and collaborated with local artists to promote cultural awareness. Her efforts were instrumental in bridging gaps between different societal groups, fostering unity and understanding. One of Isabella's most ambitious projects was the establishment of a scholarship fund for underprivileged youth aspiring to pursue careers in the arts. She believed that talent should be nurtured regardless of one's socio-economic background. The scholarship provided financial assistance, mentorship, and a platform for young artists to showcase their work. The impact of this initiative was profound. Many scholarship recipients went on to achieve recognition in their respective fields, attributing their success to the opportunities provided by Isabella's program. This ripple effect created a culture of giving back, with many alumni returning to mentor the next generation, ensuring the sustainability of the program. Lena and Enzo, though aging, remained active in their community work. They traveled extensively, sharing their story and advocating for change. Their journey from a marriage of obligation to one of mutual respect and love became a beacon of hope for many, illustrating the possibilities of transformation and growth. As they sat together one evening, reflecting on their journey, Enzo turned to Lena. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Lena smiled, her eyes reflecting the wisdom of their experiences. "Indeed. And the best part is, our story is just one of many. The real legacy is in the lives we've touched and the changes we've inspired." Their story, once rooted in obligation, had blossomed into a legacy of hope, proving that with love, determination, and a willingness to challenge the status quo, change is not only possible but also transformative.